Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video, I wanted to make a quick video on exclusive equipment upgrading priority. So for this, we're using a framework from the Pridewin list that they've come up with for exclusive equipment. And I'm going to be talking about the points which I disagree with or which points I agree with, and also just some additional information to help you make your decisions. So we're going to be ranking it, and it's ordered based on priority from very high down. And I don't fully agree with the positioning of some of the heroes, but I'll mention it when we come to it. And I'm not going to go into detail here because the thing is, I could be talking for 2 hours, honestly, if I go into real minute details. So we're going to try to make it as concise as possible. Now, just one thing to know about the notation on this list here. If a hero is ending up eventually at plus 15, for example, we have Shimira eventually ending up at plus 15. That means that eventually you will want to upgrade this hero up to plus 15. If a hero is just ending up plus 10, then that means, like, for example, Iron here, then that means you can stop at plus 10. There's no real need to go beyond that. So okay, now let's get into it. So Shimira is the #1 hero position here, and I think Shimira is very important for new players. She's an incredible damage dealer. Even for late game players, she's meta in multiple Dream on bosses. Plus 10 is her major upgrade. You want to get to plus 10 as one of the probably top 5 heroes on your account to plus 10. But after that, you can wait a while. Plus 15 is just mainly for stats, additional damage, and you need to get a lot of other key heroes at plus 10 before you think about Shimira plus 15. So Bonnie and Siren. Now, both of these are good in PvP, and so I can understand why you would want to invest in them for PvP. For PvE content, Bonnie is much more useful for AFK stages compared to Siren, but both do have their uses. But I think honestly in the early game, you can get by with them at plus 5. So eventually get both of them to plus 10, but they're not as high a priority as they are currently rated on this list in my opinion. There are far more important heroes to upgrade to plus 10 before you think about Bonnie and Siren. Okay, then we have the twins. Twins are definitely a high priority, and I do think eventually you need to take them all to plus 15. There's no question about that, because plus 15 gives kind of a major skill upgrade to give you energy refund. Like 15% of your energy is refunded to the hero after they cast their ultimate, and that allows them to cycle ultimates more quickly. So yes, plus 15 of the twins. Probably the twins at plus 15 is one of the top 2 or 3 heroes you're going to take to plus 15 first. And I think I've thought about it a lot, and I just think probably you do want to take the twins at plus 15 even before Shimira. Although it is kind of really close between the two. Shimira would increase your damage, but twins at plus 15 provides useful energy refund to all of your allies. And there are definitely uses of that for AFK stages and for Dream Realm. Okay, Iron. Now, Iron is a major. I think Iron should be probably #2 or #3 on this list, because you want to get him to plus 10 so quickly. But then after that, you don't need to take him beyond plus 10. Iron is basically done, completely built at plus 10. That will double the duration of his immobilization from his ultimate, which is really important. Next up, they have Odie here. Now, Odie is kind of falling into a weird sort of position right now, because we have a lot of great damage dealers for Dream Realm. And the question is Odie actually, has he been power crept? We're going to have to see that, because for endless bosses this season now, the top meta teams have completely replaced Odie. Now, for pre-endless bosses, Odie always does decently well, but we're going to have to see how does he perform this season. But honestly, as of right now, if your Odie's at plus 10, I would not take him to plus 15 right now. I would not take him beyond plus 10 until he proves a lot of dominance in Dream Realm this season, which I find it is going to be difficult. There's a lot of top damage dealers he's competing with. Harak is a definite plus 15. So these Celestial Hypogean heroes, Fresto, Harak, Fresto is right below Harak, and then the twins. Once you get them to Supreme Plus, you basically, or actually just Supreme actually, you can take them to plus 15. And you want to save enough resources to immediately upgrade these heroes to plus 15 when you get them there. And in total, to get to plus 15, you need 275 temporal essences. 75 from plus 5 to plus 10, and 200 from plus 10 to plus 15. So yeah, I mean, you can make do with Harak and Fresto at plus 10 exclusive equipment. Even the twins can make do at plus 10. But you want to get all 3 of these at plus 15. These are like probably your top 3 heroes you want to upgrade to plus 15, along with Shimira. These are basically the top 4 heroes at plus 15 first. But you still want to focus on your other key plus 10 priorities, which are Iron, like we mentioned, which is Shimira. Yeah. Okay, next up we have Rainier. Rainier is just not deserving. Rainier does not belong here. The reason Rainier should not be here is because Rainier, his plus 10 is only a PvP upgrade. It basically reduces the damage taken by your position swapped ally. For Dream Realm, that's almost irrelevant. The only reason Rainier is so good for Dream Realm is because just unlocking his exclusive equipment. right? The Mythic Plus ability alone at base rank without even upgrading to +5, it gives you bonus 25% damage to the target who is position swapped, and that is useful for bosses. You don't need to upgrade Rainier's exclusive equipment at all, so it should not be very high. I can understand for PvP, yeah, you want to eventually get a +10, but like Rainier is one of the lowest priorities actually to upgrade an exclusive equipment. Talene is also extremely high. She's one of those Celestial Hypogean heroes that if you build her up, you want to take her all the way to +15 to max out her potential. However, she is not as important of a hero as Harak, Feresto, and Twins for an account. Like, Talene is actually a passable Celestial Hypogean hero, so she should not be very high. She should be in high, quite a bit down the list. But eventually you want to take her to +15. If you're going to invest enough into a Celestial Hypogean to take them all the way to Supreme Plus, then you should also get them to +15. Okay, Shakir. Shakir is a major priority. And now this is, so they're just, I think the only one on this tier list, which is just skipping +5, because Shakir needs +10. Before you get Shakir to +10, like exclusive equipment and Mythic Plus +10 exclusive equipment, Shakir is basically useless. He provides no buff to allies. As soon as he gets his +10, he's now going to provide a massive attack buff to allies around him. Okay, technically he does provide a buff even without getting his +10, but it is not the attack buff. And the attack buff is what you're really interested in, and that's why you want to get him to +10 ASAP. He's actually going to be the top 3 heroes to take to +10. Shamira, Iron, Shakir. These are the top 3 heroes. You should be upgrading to +10 on your account as quickly as you can, because they have like game breaking, like with their these heroes with +10 and without +10 are like a world of a difference. So those are the major ones to be upgrading to +10 first. Then we have Ludovic, eventually taking him to +15, which I agree with because he is a great endless damage dealer and he has consistently stood the test of time being in top damage teams every single season once we get to Mythic Plus charms. But it's basically only once you have Mythic Plus charms that he's actually useful, and that's why he's not like a top priority. And you can even start with him at +5, +10. Basically, the only reason you're upgrading his exclusive equipment is only to give him stats. It's not about the effect. It's not about the skill upgrade. It's just about stats to increase his damage output. And because he's only useful for Mythic Plus after Mythic Plus charms are out in endless bosses, that's why he's lower down the priority list. Okay, Arden. Arden has been power crept by Tossie, so I would not even really recommend Arden. And if anything, not go past +5. Next up, we have Cryanaya. Cryanaya is mainly for PvP. Niche use in Dream Realm, although we'll have to see for pre-endless bosses because we haven't experienced that. And then for AFK stages, some use as well. Now, the thing about Cryanaya, though, you need to get her to her +15 to get her major skill upgrade and to maximize her damage potential. So if you're going to invest into Cryanaya and build her up, then yeah, you should take her to +15. And probably you are a whale if you're building Cryanaya, so you probably are able to take her to +15 as well. Diona, I mean, again, Diona is not a high priority. I think this is kind of from, I think a lot of heroes are remaining in their positions that they were on global launch, but now Diona is like basically, I mean, yeah, if you build him, he is important to upgrade, otherwise there's no point of building him if you're not going to upgrade his exclusive equipment, but he's just not a priority of a hero to be building and investing into now. He's purely a PvP hero, and even then, they're better PvP heroes than him. I prefer Cryanaya to Diona pretty much any day. Okay, next up we have Dunlinger. Dunlinger, like, I mean, is stuck at +5. Now, again, with all of these Celestial Hypogeans, eventually you'll want to get them to +15 to maximize their potential. They all unlock, like, meaningful skill upgrades on that final level. But yeah, like, I mean, other than that, +5 can work with Dunlinger. He does his job, which is just basically to put up the Bell of Order. The +15 is just for, like, another stab boost to one of your allies. So, yeah, it isn't as important. But these heroes, I really put so high, and honestly, for most people, it's not really applicable because you're not ever going to be building these heroes. Faramore. Faramore is interesting. Now, definitely, upgrading the exclusive equipment of Faramore is not that important. What you need with Faramore, get him to Mythic Plus, and even +5 exclusive equipment, it's enough. He's going to get off his damage output. Now, +5 is very important for him, though. It is going to increase his damage quite substantially. Eventually, even +15 is going to actually min-max the damage output from Faramore, and he is a relevant hero for Dream Realm. However, for most people, they don't have the luxury to upgrade him to +15, and so even +10 is like a fine stopping point. +10 is not useful for Dream Realm, but it's useful for AFK stages, because I believe it is going to enlarge the radius of his magic circle when he gets a kill or assist, and that is important for other PvE content other than boss content when you're not killing anything. So yeah, plus 10 eventually for Faramore, pretty important, pretty high priority. But like again, just plus 5 is the major thing. Get him to plus 5, then he's really, really strong. You don't really need to take him further than that. Other heroes are bigger priority. Lily May is basically relegated to PvP now in Ravage Realm. There's no other use for her. Like in boss content, she's just not top tier anymore. Early game, if you have her built, you can use her. And so plus 10 exclusive equipment can be nice. You don't need to get a plus 15, and plus 15 is only if you're trying to min-max for PvP content. And then it can be important. But yeah, she's only basically a purely PvP hero as of right now. Smokey Mirky plus 5, I don't really agree. Like early game, yeah, plus 5 is fine. The thing is, you want to get him to a higher exclusive equipment upgrade because that's going to increase his damage output for Dream Realm endless bosses where he does have decent damage output. Like, you know how you see Ludovic here as a plus 15 priority? Smokey's the same. Eventually, you want to take him to plus 15. But they can both get their job done at plus 5 or even plus 0 for a while. But, yeah, I mean, plus 10 is one major skill upgrade for Smokey because then he's going to have stuns on his blue aura, which is useful for AFK stages to an extent. So, like, that's kind of one thing to keep in mind. Sonya. Yeah, Sonya's fine at plus 5. She doesn't need plus 10, but of course, if you can upgrade her to plus 10, it's going to, like, get her a meaningful skill upgrade to give damage reduction to her Crimson Covenant protected allies. And also is going to increase her own stats to increase her damage in Dream Realm. And she's a pretty relevant, like, meta hero for Dream Realm, used in multiple bosses and top teams. So it would be important to upgrade to plus 10, but plus 5 is really important, and plus 10 is nice. Tassi. So Tassi is, yeah, kind of similar. That like eventually you want to get her to plus 10, and she's one of those first priorities, maybe in the top 10 to plus 10. And because of the reason that she's really good for AFK stages. Her, Iron, Bonnie, Faramore, Twins, Ulmus, these are all the AFK stage heroes. And if it's a damage dealer we're talking about, like Tassi, Bonnie, Tassi, Bonnie mainly, then you want to get them to plus 10. It gives them more stats. It gives them a meaningful skill upgrade. It's going to improve their performance in AFK stages. And for PvP, Tassi is top tier. So eventually you want to take it to plus 15 as well. Even for AFK stages and PvP both. But like, yeah, plus 10 when you can. She's probably a top 10 priority to plus 10. Okay, Thorin doesn't need to go above plus 5. Plus 5 is all it takes for him. Almas does not need to go above plus 5. Plus 5 is all that is needed for him. You do never need to go beyond that. Vala. So Vala is really fallen out of favor. Honestly, I don't know why she's here. I think it just must be from global launch that she's still stuck up here. She's not an important hero. Not used in Ravage Realm. Not used for boss content. Not used for AFK stages. In PvP, she's fine, but she's just not, she's not a top tier hero for PvP. She's just average, I would consider. So, not a priority to invest in. Athalia, again, she's a Celestial Hypogean hero. If you're going to build her, you're probably building her for PvP or Ravage Realm or like, AFK stages. She has some use, maybe early pre-endless Dream Realm bosses. So, you will want to get her to plus 15 because, like, if you're going to build her, you might as well build her to the potential. And again, you would be a whale if you're building Athalia. Okay, next up we have Natsu and Lucy. So these two heroes, Lucy can stick at plus 5. Natsu, the only reason of upgrading Natsu's exclusive equipment, his plus 10 is pretty important. Because it does apply an additional damage source from the skill upgrade. It also gives him useful stats. It increases his damage output, and he's useful and a top tier damage dealer for Ravage Realm currently, and we don't know in the future, and for some AFK stages as well. So for those reasons, plus 10 exclusive equipment, and I would actually consider him a high priority, not a medium, on the higher side. Now, Callan is, it's only if you use him in PvP. Other than that, he has basically no presence in the game. Early game, you use him, like, as a tank, but he can work even at one copy for that. So you don't need to have his exclusive equipment upgrade, not a major priority. But for PvP, of course, then you can upgrade him. Carolina, not good. Carolina's being completely crept out of the meta. Bonnie is a better damage dealer for AFK stages. Carolina just doesn't see any use, really, anymore. So you do not need to upgrade her exclusive equipment past plus 5. Cecia, even less relevant than Carolina. Both are not useful heroes. Do not invest into them. I know in the early game you can be tempted because Cecia is strong, but very soon you're going to forget about using Cecia because there are way better options that you're going to be building up, and you're just going to have wasted basically resources if you invest into Cecia. Brian, Damien. So Damien for PvP, plus 10 exclusive equipment is a nice upgrade. But I wouldn't probably go beyond that for most people. You should probably not take the plus 15. But like, I mean, for the high competitive PvP players, they can eventually take plus 15. But plus 10 is a nice point for Damien, but that's only for PvP. He doesn't have any other usage, so he's lower down the priority list. I do agree with his position being around medium here. Brian is basically only for PvP, and honestly, I don't use him. If you use him in PvP, you can upgrade him, but like in other game modes, he's not really needed. Floorball, Granny, these are not heroes you want to invest into. +5 at most, do not go beyond that. Haywin. Now, Haywin has a pretty good skill upgrade of +10, so I would consider Haywin a relatively high priority if you're using her for PvP. But the thing is, her main use is only PvP, and then Ravage Rum at the end of the season, but she doesn't necessarily need the +10 for that. So yeah, she's a lower priority, not a major priority, but if you want to maximize her potential and you're using her somewhere, then +10 is it. However, this season, she's going to be even worse in PvP. She doesn't have any charm to protect her, nor survivability. She's going to have issues. Hugin, now, Hugin is kind of interesting. I recommend +10 on Hugin, and because Hugin is kind of like a meta hero. You use him for some Dream Realm boss top teams, he's used in AFK stages, and then he can be used in PvP. So for all those reasons, I consider him a decent +10 upgrade candidate. It gives him a meaningful skill upgrade, and also it is going to increase his stats, and his stats are going to be basically a percentage of his stats is going to be provided to an ally with his mechanized bond and with his ultimate cast in terms of attack to increase the attack of your allies, and that can power him up for like Dream Realm potential and usage. So eventually, yeah, +10 can be nice on Hugin. I like that. Not a super high priority though. And Coco, I would not recommend +10 on Coco. It's a purely PvP upgrade. Doesn't help for PvE content almost ever, and in PvP, Coco has really been phased out of meta because she takes way too long to cast her ultimate. Maybe this season with like, you know, different artifacts we have and the Molder faction talent, I can imagine Coco being relatively useful, but I would not really recommend +10 upgrade because it's kind of like, she's just not always, she's not a top tier PvP hero, and in the Chains of Eternity season, she was pretty on the weaker side and only used if people just didn't have any other better option to run. And then we have Corrin. Yeah, Corrin +5, you don't need to go beyond that. He's only for Ravage Rum, and like this season, he hardly contributed any damage to Ravage Rum. +5 is all you need for him. Kruger, don't go to this +10 is crazy. Just take him to +5. He's mainly there for a debuffer. Now, Lenya should not be here. Come on. Lenya should not be in medium. Lenya, at the very least, should be in high, if not even very high. And for Lenya, +10 is a major skill upgrade for her. And like for Ravage Rum, PvE content, that's important. For PvP content, Lenya is a top tier damage dealer. Lenya needs +10, and actually +15 would be even more suitable for her eventually. But that's like lower down the list. She's not one of the first heroes you should take to +15. Shamir is like way more important than Lenya, but eventually this is a consideration. Lenya, your key damage dealer, up to +15. And honestly, as of right now, we'll have to wait and see how Odie does in this season, but I would be more inclined to take Lenya to +15 than even Odie, for example. And maybe even Lily May. I don't know. It depends also where you're focusing. If you're focusing PvP, then like Lily May could potentially be better, but Lenya is also really good in PvP. Either way, +10 is a no-brainer for Lenya. Top priority. Luca, no. +5 is all it takes. Lorson, honestly, +5. You do not need to go beyond this. You don't need to go beyond +5. Like, I mean, if you use him in PvP, yeah, upgrade him +10, but I would not really recommend him. And he's mainly for PvE content, mainly only in some niche AFK stages, not that much use. Mikola, yeah, Mikola is actually interesting because she doesn't need actually to be upgraded in exclusive equipment to perform well. Like, she does well even at +5 because her own damage output is not that high, and by getting the high upgrades, it's mainly for her own damage output. But I would say eventually you want to upgrade. Everyone should take it to +10, but don't go beyond that. Like, when +5 works for quite some time, you do not need to make it a major priority or rush it. Nara, just for AFK stages, in my opinion. PvP, she's weak, so +5. Parissa is just AFK stages, so +5, there's not really anything much. Other than that, even in AFK stages, she's not that commonly used. Scarlita, do not invest into Scarlita. I would completely reset Scarlita. I would leave her at +10 if you have her there, because that's useful for AFK stages, but definitely not +15, because she's not meta in PvP anymore, and so all of your basically +15 resources are wasted into her. +10 is enough, because she's not relevant in any PvE content other than the occasional AFK stage, and she'll get her job done at +10. Seth, +5, it depends where you're using him, but yeah, +5 is enough. You don't need to upgrade him beyond this. Like, even if you're using him in Ravage Rum, he does good damage even at +5. You don't need +10. So that is good enough. Sylvina, yeah, just stay at +5. Don't go beyond that. She's a PvP hero and not a top tier PvP hero. Sinbad, now this is weird that Sinbad is in the medium tier. Sinbad should be honestly in the very high tier. He's one of the most important heroes now to upgrade to +10 because he gets a meaningful skill upgrade to increase his debuffing value, his potential. And also, he's also one of the major priorities for plus 15. You want to get Sinbad to plus 15 pretty rapidly because that is going to maximize his debuffing potential, maximize his stat value to increase his damage output. We've seen him in Ravage Realm, dominating in Aurora Squad. We've seen him in multiple Dream Realm bosses. Pre-Endless and after Endless has come out, and I'm expecting it's going to be the same this season. We still have the Alucia Dream Realm boss, which Sinbad does really well in. Sinbad is probably going to be a force we reckon with. But, like, you don't have to invest into plus 15, but everyone needs to take Sinbad to plus 10. There's no question about that. He's a top priority, a very high priority, not medium. Tunisia, no. She's not useful anymore. Velka, plus 5. Don't go beyond plus 5 for Velka. Only Ravage Realm use. Cassidy is just so awkward. Like, she only has some very niche use. Sometimes in Ravage Realm this season, like, if you have Harak, you don't even use Cassidy in Ravage Realm. I would not think she's worth the investment of plus 10. Just leave her at plus 5. Yeah, that's it. Because we have Entendre, Burial, Rowan. I mean, all of them can be plus 5. If you're using Rowan in PvP, he is a PvP good booster hero for like Cryonia, for example. You can upgrade his exclusive equipment at least to plus 10 if you want. Burial is just not a very meta hero, so like, yeah, that's basically it. Muriel, plus 5 is enough for Muriel. Igor, so Igor has some meta use in PvP as a kind of a stall option. You can think about upgrading his exclusive equipment to plus 10 if you're using him. However, if you're not using him in PvP, then there's no need for this. Plus 5 Lucius, plus 5 Faye, plus 5 Domon. Don't even think about plus 10. This is crazy. Merrily, in the current state of things, Merrily only being a good damage dealer for a Ravage Realm at the end of the season, that's it. You do not want to upgrade her past plus 5. Plus 5 is all it takes. If you want to like min-max a bit, you can get her to plus 10. It is a meaningful skill upgrade. It will increase her damage slightly for Ravage Realm, but it's only for Ravage Realm, so it's only for people who have an abundance of resources. I totally agree. She's now a low priority for exclusive equipment upgrade. Reese low, Salazar low, Citrana low. Yeah, all of these are going to be plus 5 exclusive equipment, not be above that. Viperon, Soren, Brutus, Atalanta is actually plus 0. I don't use Atalanta at all, so like, I would not recommend it. Hodgkin. So the only thing about Hodgkin is that he is good for Ravage Realm, but that's basically it. And plus 5 is enough. You don't need him beyond that. Leica, yeah, very, very niche use, not really useful anywhere. Plus 5 is enough. Kafra, yeah, all of these heroes plus 0, or not even upgrade, or just eventually you can take them to plus 5 if you have plenty of title essences, but basically they're not important at all. So Niru, okay, Niru is a bit important because for PvP he's really been dominating, taking enemy Lily Mate interruptions. Also, he's been having good charm quality bonuses each season so far, and so I'm thinking Niru's gonna be good this season as well. And like plus 5, yeah, I would say probably a bit of a higher priority because it would just increase his stats a bit for PvP. That would help you. And if you really want to min-max for PvP, you can even upgrade him to plus 10. Okay, Gerda is not, yeah. So I totally agree basically with the low priority heroes. And I'm really happy with their placement here. And then finally have Indris and Kulu. So the thing of it is, no doubt, basically now Indris, he's going to be a key upgrade for plus 10. He gets a major skill upgrade at plus 10, which is going to make him game changing. And so like if you're thinking about building Indris, you have to also be planning to build him up to plus 10 exclusive equipment. You don't need plus 15, but plus 10 is kind of a must have. Kind of like Shamira. Now, Shamir is definitely a better damage dealer than Indris, but if you're thinking of using Indris anywhere, even Dream Realm, it is going to be plus 10. And I'm expecting Indris to do pretty good things this season. I think his charm quality bonus also is insane. I'm really hoping that he's actually somewhat meta relevant for Dream Realm, because that's always interesting. Kulu is a Celestial Hypogean. She's probably going to be around Athalia, Cryonia tier in terms of like a PvP mainly hero and some AFK stage use. So just like if you're going to build her, you would probably also be a whale, and then you should upgrade her plus 15 exclusive equipment, because any Celestial Hypogean you build up, other than Rainier, any other Celestial Hypogean you build up has to be taken a plus 15. In my opinion, and they are kind of high priorities. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. That is going to be it for this one. Let me know what you thought about this. If you disagreed or if you have any other opinions, feel free to share in the comment section. But I think overall, I'm pretty happy with how I was able to explain my thought process, and also, yeah, so just pay attention closely to what I'm saying about every single hero that we go through, if you're kind of confused about certain heroes. And to recap again, Bonnie is a priority to upgrade an exclusive equipment because she's a good AFK stage pushing hero and for PvP. So you'll want to upgrade her just for the stats alone to plus 10, and then eventually plus 15 when you can afford it. Siren, is mainly for PvP, but he does have some AFK Seiju. So again, when you can afford it, do get him to plus 10. But he's not as important. These two are not as important to plus 10 and rushing plus 10 as, for example, Iron, Shakir, honestly, even Indris if you're going to build Indris, and some of the other heroes we mentioned. Of course, Shamira plus 10. Those are the heroes that really need the plus 10. They get a game-changing difference by getting the upgrade. Even Sinbad, honestly, at this point, I would say is more important to plus 10 before Bonnie and Siren. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Good luck with your upgrades. And if you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please smash that subscribe button. Also, feel free to join my AFK Journey Discord server. There's a link to that in the description of this video. And finally, if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, feel free to use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. There'll be a link to that in the description of this video and as a pinned comment. It's no extra cost to you and it will support me in the best way possible. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.